Today we're going to look at the chart for Ross Perot, who was a presidential candidate and very successful businessman in IT. Um, he was born June 27th, 1930 at 5:34 in Texarkana, Texas. And if you look to the eastern horizon when he was born, you would see the constellation associated with Gemini rising at 16 degrees and 54 minutes. So this becomes the most effective point of every house. Any planet like Venus or Saturn that's within 5 degrees of that have a lot of impact in the chart. Now, let's look and see how the planets are operating. We know for a Gemini ascendant, there are no multicorno signs 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11 in the 6th, the 8th, or the 12th house. So for a Gemini, the only functional malefics are Rahu and Ketu. And in his chart, Rahu and Ketu are benign. They're not close to the most effective point, so they're not afflicting the houses that they're in or the houses that they aspect. However, K2 is afflicting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is afflicting Jupiter. So there is some issue there with partnerships from time to time. So let's look at how the planets are operating in his charts. Sun is at 12 degrees, rising at 12 degrees, and it is ruling the house of entrepreneurial success, business, and communication. And it is placed in the first house of life purpose. So life purpose through IT, business, communication. He also wrote a book, a couple books, and had a good relationship with his dad. I think he died when he was 25. Gives good health, longevity. And Sun being in the first house often indicates, if it's well placed and strong, which it is, something to do with politics, leadership, executive skills, organizational skills, and a very independent kind of, he listens to the advice of other people, but then he makes his own decisions. So very independent thinker. But yeah, Sun here also having to do with IT. Moon is at 24 degrees. It is ruling the house of wealth and recognition and continuation of the marital bond. It's also strong and well placed in the first house. So again, it gives strong, good wealth, recognition, strong ambition being in the first house. Now, any fluids in the body are associated with leukemia. He died of leukemia. So Mars and Moon had something to do with that. That's a cancer of the blood. Mars is at 24 degrees. It is very strong, and it is ruling the house of income, networking, and fulfillment of desires, friends. So gave him a good, strong income, and made him very courageous to get involved in lots of it's aspecting this house of investments. So gave him courage to get involved in lots of new businesses where he made a lot of money. Mercury's at 23 degrees. It is ruling the house of happiness through home life, vehicles, transportation, and it is placed in the house of enlightenment or spiritual growth. So it says that he can have great insight into investing in vehicles, and Mercury itself is business and communication. So he did really well, gave him good problem-solving abilities um, in businesses, and he gave him good happiness through his home life. Jupiter is at 7 degrees, ruling the house of partnerships in that very first house, afflicted by K2. So Jupiter's children gave him 5 children, ability to write and published a couple books. Venus is strong also. He has a lot of strong planets. Wow, so, you know, Sun, Moon, Mercury, even though it's in the 12th house, it's a little bit weak there. And Venus, and so it's also strong. So Venus gives good, strong wife, strong ability to do investments. It's ruling this house of investments and children. Gave him 5 children who are very successful. Saturn's at 15 degrees. It is ruling the house of good fortune. So good fortune through the house it's placed in, which is partnerships. Gave him long life. Very principled and practical person. Um, he's said to run a very tight ship in terms of his businesses. Rahu and Ketu are at 7 degrees. Gave him great insights into knowing the future of his investments, desire for high income, and we can see that it also can cause cancer in his chart. So let's go through when the timing of events. Got married in a Saturn period, 1956. That's Saturn in that house of relationships. K2 in 62, he had big gains in his businesses during a Venus period, which was the investing period. He had a big loss in April of 1970, one of the biggest in the stock market. That was during a Mercury Rahu. Mercury's in the house of losses. Rahu's, can cause unexpected events. 92, he lost his presidential bid and a lot of money that he invested in the presidential races. So 92 was a Venus Rahu. Again, Venus and Rahu can cause unexpected events to investing in the presidential election. He died in July 9th, 2019, death by leukemia. Moon is related to the fluids in the body. Sun is related to health. And it was during a Sun period. And Sun was afflicted by K2. So let's look at the transit chart when he died. July 9th, 2019. So you can see that Rahu and K2 are afflicting Saturn. Saturn is longevity. And Sun is being health is being afflicted by Rahu in the house of longevity, on top of Moon, which is the fluids in the body, that leukemia. And let's see, anything else going on? Mars is, yeah, those are the main things. So thank you for listening to this chart on Ross Perot. He was very well liked and probably might have done really well in the election, but he pulled out because of some controversial thing about his family, and he didn't want his family to suffer. If you're interested in learning more about transformational Vedic astrology, you can go to American Institute of Vastu. We have training and certification. If you'd like your chart read using this system, which is very accurate, you can go to vastucreations.com under services. Thank you for listening. This is Michael Mastro.